So I want to speak about a video that's now going viral on the internet. So I'm gonna paint some of the backdrop to this story for y'all before we get into it. So imagine you're down there in Florida, Hurricane Milton just hit, the power goes out in your house, and it's maybe you and your mom in that house, and you go outside just to get some fresh air, maybe clear your head, and you're walking around just scrolling through your phone, and then you're targeted out of nowhere by racist white supremacists, pulling up on you from every which direction, claiming that you don't belong in this neighborhood when you live in this neighborhood. And I don't give a damn if you wouldn't have lived in that neighborhood. You still got the right to go anywhere you please. And this is a case of what we got going on here in this video I'm about to show. Young brother, was walking around in his own neighborhood, and white supremacists pulled up on him in droves, and they were looking for ends to unalive our brother, if you ask me, claiming that he didn't belong in this neighborhood, this, that, and the other. And I got the audio and the video, and we're going to walk through and talk about this thing, family. Fair use.
What's going on, buddy?
Nigga, brother. He in my hood.
Obviously, you don't live here.
One of them said, you obviously don't live here. It don't matter if he don't live there. He still got the right to go anywhere he very well please on this God-given earth. The problem with white supremacists is they feel like they own everything, and black people are entitled to nothing, and that just ain't gonna fly. That just ain't gonna rock. But let's continue.
Four times, I don't know you. I've never seen you before, and you're walking past my house over and over again. So if you live here or you have a friend in Tiffany,
you don't gotta know him. He said he never knew him and never seen him before. You ain't gotta know this brother or have ever seen him. He got the right to go where he very well pleases. He's minding his own business, and y'all are just, being typical white supremacists and trying to attack this brother, because white supremacists are very cowardice and cowardly, if you ask me. And they were just, looking for a reason to unalive our brother, and they waited till they got extreme numbers in their favor to do this. See, they just talking to him now, but they're going to get a little bit more aggressive later on in the video. But let's continue. Once they get the numbers in their favor.
Over again. So if you live here or you have a friend visiting here, that's fine. I'm not in front of your house. You're actually following me.
We're just asking a question. You live out here?
I'm a part of the neighborhood.
You're part of the neighborhood?
He's playing it right, though, because they keep asking him questions to try to fish and get an ends to unaliving our brother. See, they looking for him to make one slip up so they got justification in their white supremacist minds for unaliving our brother. But let's continue.
You live here? It's simple. You live here. Come up to my wife.
Now he trying to say he did something to his wife.
I don't know what you're talking about. But, and I think I can walk around my neighborhood.
If you live here. Yeah, that's where you live here.
Right.
You can walk around in that neighborhood, in any neighborhood that you want, brother. You don't got to explain yourself to these white supremacist degenerates. But let's continue.
You gonna keep asking me the same question over and over and over and over and over. This man following me. This is harassment, right?
You haven't answered yet.
That's harassment,
Racial
right?
profiling. Harassment, all sorts of nonsense they doing.
I don't even want to, I can't even be comfortable because look at this shit. Then y'all coming up the block way for people. They trying
Look,
to
now it's more people pulling up in back of them. They just trying to get the numbers in their favor.
This ain't weird. This ain't, look at the neighborhood creepers. The neighborhood creepers. Damn. What the fuck? If Buddy, look at Buddy.
Look.
He's still creeping.
Steve.
Look, that guy's name must be Steve. They keep saying Steve. He jumped out the car. He got some weapon right there. He got a handgun, family. Let's stop it right there. See, I told you white supremacists is a cowardly and it's a cowardice system. They waited till they got extreme numbers in their favor to, attack and get, aggressive, because they ain't going to attack and do this thing when it's fair. The odds is, a one-on-one, head up type of situation. They're going to wait till they get extreme numbers in their favor to try to unalive this black person and do him some type of harm. And this is what we got a case of right here. But the young brother played it right and having his phone out, not giving him too much information, and just, he kept moving. He didn't sit there and engage him too much, and that, that was good. And that he had his phone out was a good thing too. But a thing that I seen where he made a little bit of a mistake is that, he was a little bit naive, but he's a young brother. He probably didn't know really what he was dealing with, what he was encountering, and that was the system of racism, white supremacy, because he was laughing a little bit, you know what I mean, as just, nonchalantly, like this ain't nothing, when in all actuality, he's lucky to have made it up out of this scene, because more often than not, when they get the odds in their favor like this, and it's just one black person and a lot of them, and they pulling up and, somebody jumps out with a gun, this ain't going to work out for that black person. They're going to end up unalive 9 times out of 10, and we see that more often than not. But from what I gather, this brother is, only raised. I don't know if he's only raised by his mom, but I'm hearing about his mom. I didn't hear to the aspects of his dad, and maybe she didn't put him up on game as to white supremacy. When he encounters white supremacists or racism, she maybe that didn't, put him up on game as to that. But I'm not coming at her. But it's our job as the black community, black men and women, to start putting our youth up on game, so they have a little bit of, ground to stand on. So when they are encountering white supremacy, they ain't just blindsided by it and looking around like a deer caught in the headlights and not knowing which way to go or what to do. They know how to swiftly address it and move accordingly, and so they're able to, make whatever um, counteract that, to counteract what they're coming up against, So we got to start just, putting our young people up on game as to racism, white supremacy, because me personally, if I seen these people, degenerates, bothering this brother, I would have been out there quick, fast, and in a hurry. I ain't gonna see all these, people surrounding, any black person for that matter. I'm pulling up and I'm gonna see what is going on, because, I know a lot of times when they get like that and they get all them numbers in their favor, they looking to do this particular black person no good. And a lot of times our people don't make it from these kinds of scenes. So just God willing that he did make it up out of there, the ancestors, universe, whatever you want to call it, God, somebody was with this young brother, because really, I don't think, they intended for him to make it up out of there, but it just so happens he did. And, we got to start just, teaching our young a little bit more and putting them up on the game involving this white supremacy, because a lot of times these kinds of situations are used to unalive our people. And what I'm hearing is that, two, that the cops were called here, but they investigated it. They're so-called investigating. These race soldiers play on the same team as white supremacy. The police are on the team of white supremacy, so they wrote it off as to it wasn't a crime committed. And how a crime wasn't committed when this was a hate crime? They were only targeting this brother because he was black. I bet you if it was a white man walking down that neighborhood, nobody would have stopped him or harassed him to ask him where he was going, what he was doing, this, that, and the other. It was only because this brother was black. And then this guy, Steve, jumps out and brandishes a handgun. So how that ain't a crime? It ain't a crime because this was against a black person? Yeah, I know that's what it was, because this dang wicked system we up under, looks after and protects its own. So this is what this was a case of. Uh, White people all getting on cold with one another. Uh, Regular average day white supremacists getting on cold with the law enforcement presence of white supremacy. They was all working in conjunction with one another, and this is why we got to start just putting our people up on game, especially our young, because a lot of young people, what I'm noticing nowadays, they not getting put up on game as to how to counteract white supremacy and how to move when you encounter white supremacy. And because it still does exist. Don't think that during the days of old that white supremacy still don't exist, because white supremacy still dominates and controls this whole entire planet. And we gotta expose it and talk about it and put each other up on game. And if we see something out of the ordinary, a black person getting unjustly done, such as this young brother right here was getting targeted, it might have been, very well could have been, if it wasn't for uh, the universe, the ancestors, God, whatever you want to call it, he very well could have ended up a victim and may not even have made it out alive in this situation. Because 9 times out of 10, when a situation like this occurred, they get these kind of extreme numbers in their favor. It's to unalive a black person. So yeah, we just got to watch out and be vigilant and, put our young up on game regarding this racist white supremacist system we under. But these no good degenerates need to be charged up with a hate crime because this was a black hate crime, and not just no slap on the wrist, but the cops were already deployed there and said there was no crime taking place. So we need to be giving pushback and resistance to this on the grassroots to why these cops didn't hold these no good degenerates accountable, because we know actually why they didn't hold them accountable, because they playing all on the same team of white supremacy, but they need held accountable. And this is another, example of why we need that black hate crimes bill, because everywhere you look, everywhere you turn, black folks, primarily foundational black Americans, are being targeted by this unjust racism or white supremacy system that we under. Just my thoughts on the matter, but these cops should have arrested them brothers, and these cops even need held accountable for something for they, you know, stupidity and ignorance regarding this situation. Because they should have took more action upon this. Somebody jumps out brandishing a gun, and he just gets a slap on the wrist and just gets to walk off of the scene, and all of these people targeting this brother, and they not held accountable, and it was clearly done because he was black. Because if the roles were reversed and this was a white person walking down that neighborhood that they didn't know from the neighborhood, I bet you they would have let him walk and wouldn't have been harassing him and asking him, where is he going, this, that, and the other. But yeah, typical white supremacist behavior. But I just wanted to bring it to the family. Peace.